Hello, my name is Matthew, and today I want to discuss challenges and difficulties that young male adults experience during dating and in search of intimacy. Let me ask you a simple question. Do you have a girlfriend? And to be even more precise, do you have a girlfriend that understands you? Or does your relationship look promising? Are you going places? It's a simple question that most people do not have an answer to. And that is because most people, they can't distinguish a relationship from a situationship, from a donationship, from an arrangement. Like, these things are so mixed up, they are so convoluted, like you cannot separate one from another. Because most people are in situations whereby they are not really in a relationship. They are just in some sort of an arrangement whereby there's a guy who pays rent and this other person provides sex, and that is that. When I ask you this particular question, are you in a relationship? I am trying to understand, are you guys building something? Are you guys in alignment that this is who we are right now, this is what we are going through right now, and that is where we are going, and those are the kind of people we are trying to be like? Do you have some sort of a vision for yourselves? Because that is the kind of understanding that lacks nowadays. Like, modern dating does not provide that. It is very, very common to see people tell you that, what do you bring to the table? Bro, it's the norm. That's the first thing you're being asked. Okay, what do you bring to the table? And for madam, it's kind of easy for them because most of the time they kind of just, sideline this particular question, or they find a way to mock it or make fun of it. But when men are asked this particular question, what do you bring to the table, it oftentimes hits us differently. Kwa sababu, all of a sudden, a man has to come up with all the ways he can provide value to this particular person he wants to be in a relationship with. Okay? So when a man is being asked, what do you bring to the table? Oftentimes, a man goes to think about of all the ways he has to provide for this beautiful Chile. Can I pay rent for her? Can I feed her? Can I clothe her? Can I entertain her in different ways? If another competitor steps into the scene, am I in a position to compete with that particular guy and potentially win the competition? Those are the kind of questions we ask ourselves. Now, unapata, men get so stressed because that particular question kind of measures your worth. And if a man can find answers to all those questions, most of the time they come to a conclusion that they are not worthy of love. They are not worthy of respect. They are not worthy of affection. They are not worthy of that particular Chile's attention. Kitu kama hiyo. That is why I am saying, when a man gets asked, what do you bring to the table? It oftentimes hits differently. Because madam, they usually say, I am the table, kitu kama hiyo. And they just go about their business. But machali, bro, we have to think about that shit. And the second thing that men do go through, young males go through, is competition between young adults and older established individuals in the society. Kwa sababu these individuals have means now. They can provide this Chile with anything they want. They can buy them the latest handbags. They can take them out for movies, expensive restaurants. They can eat out each and every single day. This chile can experience the best life akidate huyu mbabas. Now, those are the kind of men young men are in competition with. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah? Imagine these guys have been building themselves for like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. They have all these resources in abundance. When you are a kid in your 20s, you don't even have a job, but you want to build something with a particular chile. You have your own feelings, you have your desires, but you cannot really put yourself out there because you're scared. Unaweza pata, like, bro, you can eventually attract the attention of a very beautiful young lady, but can you protect that young lady from established older men? Because most of the time, machali wengi, or nowadays machali wengi, are not threatened by their age mates. Kwa sababu most of our age mates are just as miserable, are just as poor, are just as desperate, are just as immature, are just as physically unfit as most of us. Unanipata? So ukipata au machali ambao they are kinda looking good, they have their shit figured out, they have their own place, they have a car, they have their businesses, it is a very small percentage. A very small percentage. So ni ngumu sana madem ku encounter wasekao, but it is very, very easy for madem ku encounter wababas. That is who we call them, wababas. Wababas are out there, and your next door neighbor can be mbabas to your chile. Like we've seen, like witnesses coming forth, witnessing kwamba they were in relationships whereby their next door neighbors was like wanna share stuff like that. So instead of someone putting themselves out there and taking a gamble on these chiles, they decide, you know what, it is better if I just try to set myself up, get my business, and put my shit together, and then maybe later, if I am established to a certain degree, I can now go out there and maybe find a mate for myself. Now, here is where the problem arises. Imagine you've set yourself up, you're now established to a certain degree. Now you decide to put yourself out there and try to find a mate for yourself. And you realize that most of these chiles are not after you because of who you are. They are not interested in knowing you. They are not interested in loving you. They are not interested in becoming your life partner. They are only interested in being protected by what you've created. They are only interested in sharing what you've made. They are only interested in seeking shelter in the house that you've already built. Now, to most men, that is a deal breaker. Okay? That is a deal breaker, and they cannot entertain such things. But ukipata wale machali who have confidence issues and they have low self-esteem, watakuwa in this toxic relationship kwa sababu they finally found someone who is willing to be with them, to give them companionship, to provide intimacy. So they don't want to lose that because they are scared kwamba somebody out there might not see them the way this particular chick saw him. So they are forced to put up with all the bullshit, with all the crap, with all the disrespect, just because they are trying to be with a chile who doesn't really love them. but just because that Chile's companionship is valuable to this particular guy, he's willing to tolerate all the crap that comes with it. That's another challenge, okay? People or young adults are trying to build something because stiff competition, they face stiff competition from older established competitors in the dating market. And after these young adults establish themselves, now it becomes a problem to attract a mate who likes them for who they are. And without the third challenge that young males go through is with regards to maturity. I think most males are not mature, or at least not mature enough to understand females intimately. And when I say intimately, it doesn't just mean, in a sexual sense. I also mean when it comes to the aspect of friendship, when it comes to the aspect of understanding female psychology, understanding female biology, and excusing or making necessary compromises that can foster their relationship, okay? So for example, uko na dem kitu kaa hiyo, and this Chile is like ile tu typical Chile dramas, okay? Most men don't really know how to deal with that, and most of the mentors that are mentoring us on the internet are telling us that you should not tolerate that. The moment a Chile shows these, you cut them off, you walk away because you're the prize, you're the king. Don't, bro. Nobody really tells us that in relationships, Chiles are going to show a little bit of they are prone to dramas, and when they start these dramas, you're supposed to listen to them in a particular way, or you're supposed to give them a certain kind of attention. Sawa. So nobody really tells us that. So unapata these young males, they have finally established themselves. They have decided to form relationships with these Chiles. But these Chiles are dramatic most of the times. And because these Chiles are dramatic and they don't know how to handle these Chiles, they decide, you know what? Fuck this Chile. Let me go out there, find me another Chile who doesn't have all this drama. And there are Chiles who don't have a lot of drama out there, but it is very difficult to get those Chiles. And I think Chiles also know that to some extent they like dramas, because drama kind of creates entertainment and it breaks boredom. Kitu kama hiyo. So that is the other challenge. And the fourth challenge that Machali go through, young Machali go through, is how to navigate this dynamic. Yeah, maybe in-laws, new in-laws are now in the picture. How do you relate to these guys? These Chile as friends, as family and friends. How do you relate to those people? Nobody really tells us that. That is also a subject on its own. It's not easy, okay? How are you supposed to defend your Chile when your Chile kinda badmouths one of her friends? Are you supposed to take her side? Are you supposed to instill sense in her head? And next time when her Chile, when her friend is on the wrong, bro, it's just difficult to navigate all these dynamics, kitu kama hiyo. So nobody really tells us that. Nobody really educates us about that. And also, when the brothers come over, how are you supposed to talk to them? Are you supposed to be bros, like bros, tell this guy every single thing, complain to these guys about everything that you don't like about, his sister, something like that? Or are you supposed to be like, okay, there are boundaries, There are things I can talk about with your family and relatives, and there are things I might talk about with your family and relatives. So finding a perfect balance and establishing those boundaries is also another conversation that young males need to have amongst themselves. And we'd really appreciate if someone can just tell us, hey man, I've had experiences about these particular things, the best way to handle a particular issue when it comes to dynamics between you and relatives of your chile or family of your chile. You're not supposed to say this, or at least restrict yourself from saying A, B, C, D. And the fifth and most important challenge that I have to address today ni mambo ya finances na economics. Wadau, I don't think this particular point will ever get enough attention on this channel. That is why I insist on discussing this particular subject from time to time. Kwa sababu this thing breaks a lot of relationships. I can even go ahead and say that if you master this one thing, if you overcome this one challenge, if you master the house of dealing with this particular challenge, I think you're 75% successful in your relationship. Kwa sababu ikifika ni mambo ya do, bro. Kwa sababu it is very difficult for you as an individual to put your finances in order. Now imagine it is the two of you. You have different tastes. You have maybe different goals depending on your phase of life. You have different desires. You have different appetites. Like, look at all that. Now you have to integrate that and find a way for your finances as a collective to cater for that. So it's very, very difficult for, kumaneuver your dynamic. That is why I think we need serious mentors who can actually help us navigate these particular finance issues. Ikifika ni mambo ya do, kwa sababu there is this popular narrative kwamba pesa ya Chile ni ya Chile, and then do ya chali ni do ya household. And people like, how is that supposed to make sense? There is no sense in that. Kwa sababu you're now an entity, a single entity, and you need to be in alignment when it comes to most of the things. When it comes to your dreams, you need to be in alignment. When it comes to your vision, you need to be in alignment. When it comes to your goals, you need to be in alignment. But most of the time, there is a way that machile, they kind of separate themselves to ensure that they can use their money however they like. But my boys, you're expected to share your money with them. And to make matters even worse, nobody really tells us how we are supposed to be now relating to the family members, especially wakiwa na ngori. Are you supposed to be all about their business? Are you supposed to help them? To what extent are you? To what extent can you really help them? Are you supposed to help them all the way? Because we've seen my boys who go to extreme extents hadi kulipia wase school fees. And later, if the relationship doesn't work out, the boy just resents themselves and they regret what they did. Hiyo ndio challenges tuna go through, maze. Hiyo ndio challenges tuna go through, and we don't know how to navigate these things. Most of us are learning on the job. Kuna wase wamesema, I am not going into this thing until I have some sort of, a clear pathway. If it comes to this is what I'm going to do. Because with ikifika ni story ya do, that becomes a really sensitive thing. Alafu unapata now there is Usifanye hivyo. Now unapata your Chile's family is kind of reliant on you to do some things. They are sick, they send you the bill, the hospital bill. Kuna school fees, they send you the school fees bill. And then there is a misfortune may happen huko hivyo, they require you to come in and do something about it. And sometimes unaweza kuwa kwa fix, unaweza kuwa wewe pia uko kwa fix, you need this money, you have your own projects, you have your own business you're trying to run, you don't really have much to share with other people, but these obligations start feeling like chores, like these expectations sometimes just weigh men down. Okay, so ikifika hiyo story, how are we supposed to navigate that? Hii mambo ya black tax, how are we supposed to navigate that? Because helping too much hurts you, not helping at all also hurts you. It hurts the relationship that you have with your in-laws, stuff like that. So how are we supposed to do this, man? How are we supposed to do this? Somebody has to come and give us these answers. The guys who have had successful relationships out there, successful marriages out there, successful courtships out there, how did you guys navigate this? How did you do it? How did you start it? How did you Jesus Christ. So wadau, I guess what I'm trying to do here is calling upon the intervention of experienced individuals who have successfully navigated relationships, people ambao wame structured their relationships properly. What did you discuss? What tough conversations did you have in the beginning of your relationships? And what are some of the compromises you made for your relationships to actually flourish? What did you do, Maze? What did you do? Because things are bad out here, man. Things are not good for most of us. Okay. Today, munapata mmekosana, tomorrow you are munasikizana, and then after 2 days, it's not healthy. Most of us are not in healthy relationships. It is toxic, man. But it looks like we are addicted to this toxicity, or we don't know how to get ourselves out of these toxic situations. We don't know how to do that. We don't know how to begin. We don't even know if it's possible to find a healthy, loving relationship that can advance both of you. Hatujui kama kitu kama hiyo is possible. So itakuwa fiti mazee mkikaa mapon, like just comment. Nitakuwa na go through comments, read them, ndakuwa na shout out wase watakuwa na comment hapo hivyo chini wakisema okay, in my relationship I did ABCD, and that particular agreement or that particular arrangement bore fruit. Na right now we are enjoying 50 years in like we've been married for 50 years, or we've been in courtship for maybe 8 months, and since tumekuwa na arrangement na kaa hivi na hivi hatujakuwa na issues mob. So wadau, sitaki niwachoshe. I think this is one of those episodes nina bring up a lot. These are some of the issues nitakuwa nina discuss a lot, just to create awareness and to share experiences between sisi ambao tunaingia kwa hii kitu and the people who have some sort of knowledge and skills to teach us. Wadau, you can subscribe, comment your opinion down there. Nitakuwa nasoma everything, and adios maze. See you next time.